By Jonathan Williams, President and Chief Economist over at our friends at the American Legislative Exchange Council, alec.org/Hugh, if you want the State of the States newsletter. Jonathan, I usually talk just issues with you, but I want to start by bragging on your boss, Lisa Nelson, because she made one of those lists that Washingtonian puts out that Washingtonians actually pay attention to. One of the 100 most powerful women in Washington. That's actually quite a big deal for Lisa. And she's not the kind who goes looking for accolades.
Well, that's exactly right, Hugh. We are so proud of our leader, Lisa Nelson, for being named to this Washingtonian list. And for those of you that know Lisa, you know exactly that she deserves to be at the top of that list like she is, and as a force of nature for the conservative movement and for good policy discussions, and has been for a very long time around this town. So we are so proud of that, and well-deserved recognition to Lisa.
She is really the motor on the motorboat that is ALEC, and it's really more of a aircraft carrier because ALEC is getting bigger and stronger every day. richstatespoorstates.com gets bigger and better every year. Now, Jonathan, you're the economist. What about this shutdown? What does it do? Does it make a lick of sense?
No, it doesn't, Hugh. I mean, this is ridiculous what Chuck Schumer and the liberals in the U.S. Senate are holding out for. And I think most Americans see right through it. I was in Columbus, Ohio this week talking to a group of folks interested in government, what's going on. And not one of them could understand why they would be holding up the normal business of keeping the government open and providing for the things that government provides for over holding $1.5 trillion of additional spending that the liberal Democrats in the Senate want. Obviously, that goes into some details that I'm sure a lot of those Democrats don't want to discuss right now, such as the Medicaid for illegal aliens and non-citizens, the COVID-era subsidies of Obamacare that Biden had put in place. Here we are 5 years after the start of the pandemic, and I guess folks on the left think that that should be a permanent part that taxpayers pay for going forward. But that alone, Hugh, is about $350 billion of additional spending over the next 5 years alone. So it wasn't that long ago. We were just talking about the national debt clock rolling over to $37 trillion, a figure that would have been unimaginable even 10 years ago. And here we have the progressives in the United States Senate pushing for trillions of dollars more spending. I think there's a huge disconnect there with what most Americans want to see coming from Washington.
I agree with that, and I've been talking about the Schumer shutdown all week. I think it'll be over by middle week because the political costs are incalculable to the Democrats, and they do have to win in Virginia and New Jersey. But I want to transition to New Jersey because we were talking about you behind your back, Noah Rothman and I, Jonathan, because Noah lives in New Jersey, and the New Jersey governor's race may turn on property taxes, which have occasionally there's a property tax revolt in New Jersey. What is the state of property tax in the country? California is blessed by Prop 13, but places like New York, people are having to move because of property taxes.
Oh, I mean, the state of property taxes is in complete disrepair across the country, Hugh. And as I've traveled probably to 35 states in the last year, and I ask state lawmakers what they're hearing the most about from their constituents, without an exception nearly, it's been property tax burdens, number one thing that has been getting their constituents really up in arms, and rightly so. And it's a complicated issue in a way, although the solutions, as we'll talk through, I'm sure here, are simple in that the property tax burden is driven by local governments' spending decisions. And what gets complicated about it, a lot of our ALEC members sitting in the state capitals get blamed for it. And guess what? 99% of property taxes, Hugh, come because cities and counties and townships and other local governments decide to make those spending decisions, and then they ask the states to solve their problems for them. I know this isn't rocket surgery, as Art Laffer likes to say, but what we need is a rational spending policy, not just in Washington as we talk about the Schumer shutdown, but at the state and local level, where locals need to live within their means and be honest about the fact of what is driving property taxes, and that is local government spending decisions.
I want to pause on that because, Jonathan, when I was a kid, the first thing I remember in politics, this is over 60 years ago, is a local school levy asking for 1 mil increase in the property tax level. And I asked my parents, what is a mil? And they tried to explain it. And it's, it's a percent or a tenth of a percent. I can't even remember. But that's been going on forever. It's local government driving property taxes. Do the ALEC members know that?
Yeah, they sure do. And even in the red states, it's a lot of these blueberries in the progressive cities that are driving the property tax burden and then blaming the conservative state legislators for making it happen. And of course, that's exactly wrong. Here's the problem, Hugh, is as assessments are going up across the country, that's what's really driving this issue. And we need to get a handle on it. ALEC has some great solutions, such as our truth in taxation model policy passed by Utah and other states.
Next week, Jonathan Williams from the American Legislative Exchange Council, alec.org/Hugh if you want the weekly State of the State newsletter. And if you want rich states, poor states, find out where you rank on property taxes and everything else, go to richstates, poorstates.com.